you guys? Welcome to day 4. So today we are talking about something that I am so passionate about. And no, it's not tough love, but there's going to be a lot of tough love in this. We got to talk about clarity. Clarity is something that literally got me to my goals. One, I got really, really real with myself. I cut the BS and I cut the fluff. I stopped pretending like what I was doing was so hard and I was trying so hard. That's what I kept saying. I was like, but I'm trying so hard. And I wasn't, because I wasn't doing the needle moving stuff that got me closer to that one goal. At the top of the domino list that just knocked down all the other dominoes on my top 10 to-do list, I was kidding myself. But I wasn't kidding myself out of, laziness. And that's not what I'm saying that you're doing. I was frustrated because I felt like I was working hard. I wasn't, because I was working on all the wrong things. And I was very unclear on what it took to get to that goal that I wanted so badly. So I had to figure out what that goal was that I wanted so badly and get really crystal clear on it. So we've kind of done that, right? Like we've gone through your top 10 to-do list. Hopefully you made a new one this morning and you asterisked that main goal that's going to be the first goal that moves the needle for all the other ones, or at least close to moving. The one that just, it makes all the other dominoes fall, and you know which one it is. And it's the one that probably matters the most to you, or it's the one that affects the one that matters the most to you. So we talked about vision board. That's going to help with clarity. That's number one. If you haven't yet done your vision board, pause me and go work on your vision board, because you looking at that will give you so much clarity. But secondly, there's this thing that I call P&P, parts and people. And you've got to know the moving parts of this goal, and you've got to know the people that it takes to get to this goal. And there is some form of a storyboard that you can make, not just a vision board, but a storyboard. And a storyboard is basically when you think about a movie or an episode on TV, they had to create a storyboard for that to happen, where the writer had to pitch to the director, hey, this is scene 1 where Betty's talking to Archie, and then scene 2 where enter Veronica, and then scene 3, Veronica runs away with Archie. Like, that's a storyboard. That's clarity. That is how they're like, okay, homegirl Betty's super cute, but in comes Veronica and there goes Archie. Like, we understand the clarity of what's happening. That's kind of what you have to do with your goals, that you might not know the people involved and you might not know the moving parts. And I'm telling you, for it to happen in real life, it has to happen on paper first. There has to be some level of clarity. So that's why I'm a big believer in sticky notes on a board of the moving parts of one goal. So you've got your needle moving goal, you've got your top 10 goals that you know that you want to achieve, but that big needle moving goal, what are the parts and people? What are the moving parts? And I would just suggest doing this with sticky notes. What's your storyboard look like? What does this piece, so let's say I used the example earlier of you may be starting a blog. I think it was in day 2. I talked about doing a blog, and the first little bite that you can take out of it was day 1. The first little bite that you can take out of it would be to buy the domain. That is part of the storyboard. I need to buy my domain. Do you need to hire an assistant to build your website? Do you need to sign up for said website like Squarespace or Wix or whatever it is? Do you need to maybe hire a photographer? I'm talking about parts and people, but this is the people part. The part is, the website, the writing, the content, what's going to be on it. How often are we going to blog? These types of goals, you need to have clarity on it for you to get to that end result. So example, with starting YouTube, I had to have an idea of how often I was going to shoot videos, how I was going to shoot them, when I would upload them, what the overall vibe would look like, but tangible check marks that I could hit along the road, that I knew I was on the right path, it wasn't just the overall goal. And the point in doing this is clarity will help you with overwhelm, because usually when you set a goal like start a blog, and I'm one to say that because I've wanted to start a blog for 7 years and I still haven't, because in my head it's still just start a blog. That's overwhelming as a task. But when you break it down to buy the domain, write your first post, and take a little shark bite out of it, not a full, you don't have to take off a whole limb, but just a little bite, that's how you move the needle. So you've got your vision board, your parts and your people, and you need your date. So what is the date for this? And again, hint, it's gonna be at the end of this month, that you have achieved that clear goal. But along the way, I want you to basically have your storyboard. So you've got square 1, that maybe it's by day or by week. That sticky note 1 is you enter here and this is you doing this for this goal. Sticky note 2, and you can even put an arrow, and it's literally following the bouncing ball of that goal so that when you get to that end of the month mark, it's not a shock that you friggin' crushed it and you hit that goal, but you've got to hit those mini milestones along the way. So that's really how I would explain the clarity goal, is that you've broken it down and chunked it into smaller bite-sized parts that you've achieved that mini deadline in between. And that's clarity. That's understanding, hey, I'm moving towards this goal and I'm actually knocking things off as I'm going and I'm actually crushing it. Not just, oh my gosh, this is so daunting and I'll get to it eventually, but where you can break it down and chunk it and have such a level of clarity that you own that goal and that you know that it's going to happen. So get after it, go make that storyboard, and go crush it today. Bye, dudes.
Let's go.